difficult thing on making AI videos using Google VEO3 is the character consistency. And that's why in this tutorial I will show my process of creating the characters as consistent as possible. And therefore we start in Google Whisk. Google Whisk is currently only available in the US, but soon I think it will be available worldwide also. And for the sake of this video, I created a prompt for Whisk for a professor that we're going to make, which is Professor Alistair Finch. I put a description here, but here, this is where you put your own idea. So if you want to create the Yeti that everybody does, or if you want to create something else, this is where you put it. And this is just a simple photo creator. So now my photo is created, and I can pick which one I like most, which in this case is, they're quite similar, but now let's pick this one. Download it, and then I upload it to Whisk again. And the reason I do this is because Whisk is now generating a full AI description, or like a full prompt for this character. So if I click here, then here I get a very detailed description of my character. So the next step I'm doing is copy this one, go to Google Gemini, I'll start a new chat now, and then I say to Gemini, so I've asked Whisk to create a character using this prompt. So this is the prompt that I put in Whisk initially. And the second question I'm going to ask is, Whisk gave me this character description. So then I copy the whole character description here. Here. Character description. Yes, so this is the answer for Wix. It's very detailed. And what we see in here is the background. So because we are going to create the character prompt now, we can remove the background, which is not interesting for us. There is one detail in here, and that's the prosthetic. So that's maybe what we're going to leave in. So then I'm asking, let's create the character blueprint. Okay, and then the next step is to create the voice prompt. So create the voice prompt for the professor. Okay, then I say in this case, because Gemini gives me a few options, choose option 1. Choose option 1, create my master blueprint voice prompt and add it to the character master blueprint prompt. Okay, now we get the entire prompt. This is the master character prompt with all physical appearances, key equipment, environment, personality, and here's the master voice prompts, backstory, plot hooks, and the last one we are gonna ask is create a cinematic scene prompt and choose a camera plus lens type from which everything is being filmed. Okay, he already gave me also the first scene now. That's not really what I asked him, but now we're going to create first the master blueprint. Okay, here we see the character master blueprint. So this is all about the character. Here you see his world, so his workshop in this case, his voice prompts, and the cinematic style. So which camera it's filmed, that's also very important for the consistency, especially the lens. Then we see, now he creates already now the opening scene. That's what we don't want actually. So that's the last instructions that we're going to give him is remove the opening scene and story hooks from the master blueprint prompt. We don't want to add that because VEO3 is going to use them and we want to create independent scenes. Add the VEO3 cannot add any subtitles to any video, very important. He still will do that, but we cannot really 100% avoid it. But yeah, it's good to have it in the master blueprint prompt. This character voice and scene prompt we're going to put in front of every scene that we're going to create from now on. Maybe a small addition. Every scene is max 8 seconds, because that's the max that VEO3 can do. VEO2 can adding to scenes, but VEO3 can only do 8-second scenes. Yeah, and this is just instruction, so that he has to keep that in mind. Okay, now that we have the master blueprint, so now we're gonna say, and let's see if this works, create the first scene. Yes, that worked. So what Gemini did now is he put first the entire master blueprint prompt, and with the voice with cinematic style, and then here is the scene prompt, so for the scene that we're going to create. So then the last thing we do is we copy the entire prompts and we put it in Flow. One important thing is at the moment Flow is only available in the United States, so I'm working on a VPN, so my PC thinks he's in the United States. So copy it in, paste it in a new project. What you will see as the result is that the professor will not be exactly the same as the professor you saw in Whisk, but now VEO3 AI is going to create its own version based on the prompt that we created. So it won't be exactly the same, but it will probably be a bit alike. Okay, and there we have the professor. Cool. Now we're going to make the next scene, and we just say to Gemini, make the next scene. This is because I really don't have a script for this character. We just came along with him on fly. But now let's see what Gemini is going to create. Now what he does, this is very good. This is not something that he always does. So AI is always a little bit lazy. So it's not always that he puts the entire master blueprint again. Sometimes he said like same as the previous. But that's what we not want. What we don't want. We want him to do this with the same master blueprint prompt every time. Otherwise, we get differences in the character. Now, okay, he creates something new. So now the next scene, let's see what he created. This robotic arm. Now, looking quite futuristic and cool. So the next scene, we actually want the professor to talk. So make the next scene, let him introduce himself. So here's the introduction prompt. So now let's see if we can get him to talk. Okay, and this is what I was actually hoping for. You can see the character is not really consistent, and the most obvious thing is his mustache. So if you look at the first video, you can see the mustache like this, and the second video, the mustache is much bigger. So we can do a few things. I think maybe the most easiest is if we upload a photo, this one, and then we say to Gemini, the character is not consistent, the mustache is off. See attached image on how the mustache was in the first video created. We want it similar throughout the videos. Okay, so this is what we were talking about, the laziness of AI sometimes. So now I said he has to update the master blueprint, but he didn't add the scene. So okay, so here we have the updated prompts that we're gonna add. One important thing to do is, because the mustache is not consistent, if I put in now the prompt, hit enter, then it will continue still on this video. So the thing what I always do is delete this one, because the video I'm not going to use because it's not consistent. Then paste the new prompts, where we have the updated mustache in here. Yeah, here you go. And then recreate it again. So this is the fine-tuning of the master blueprint prompt. So you have to do this always a couple of times until you are really happy with the results. And then you can keep continuing scenes, and the character will most likely look the same throughout all the videos. So I had to polish the prompt a little bit. I had to be honest, I went a little bit back and forth to get the mustache right. That's just by opening the prompt here. So you can open your last prompt. And now I had to put here this is a simple chevron mustache. I had to Google that first. And then afterwards he was getting it right. And then your final video looks something like this.
Professor Alistair Finch, a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
So now he's also talking, and he's talking with like a nice British-like accent. So yeah, this is how you create character consistency throughout your videos. It's a lot of going back and forward, a lot of finalizing, finishing, polishing your prompt. But once you have the prompt fully to your satisfaction, then you can create scenes over and over again, and your character will most likely be exactly alike.